Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another live stream. Don't do a ton of live streams, but I miss doing live streams and I like doing them. I've been on the phone most of the afternoon today with you guys. I'm sure can relate to this insurance company. So naturally, their 2 hour phone call took away from putting together a lengthier video today. I'm just going to move all that content to tomorrow. So my apologies for not having something a little bit more professional looking for you guys today. But I did have something that I was going to cover tomorrow that I feel like I can probably go over here. Don't know if you guys have seen this. We got some, I think, mafia type stuff happening. Have you seen the Las Vegas veterinarian caught on camera kicking a horse in the face? He was found dead in Lake Meade weeks after he disappeared. I will show you the video of him kicking the horse. I don't get squeamish and stuff like that, but I did read his reason for kicking the horse. There appears to be a lot of backstory and a lot of context that not a lot of people are talking about. But the person who filmed him kicking the horse was actually the horse's owner. And from what I understand, they were trying to get rid of the nads, and he was trying to, put the horse to sleep, if you will. Or I don't know if he was trying to put him to sleep, but he's certainly trying to deaden the area, if you know what I mean. And the veterinarian claimed after the video got leaked or got put out by the horse's owner, he mentioned that I was trying to get the horse to get up so it could breathe. I don't know how that comes into play. I do know this, and I'm not saying it's okay to kick a horse or any other animal. I'm not implying that. But whatever a horse weighs, which is way more than a 200-pound man, kicking it in the mouth was certainly not going to kill the horse. Again, not taking up for the guy. I'm telling you, it's not like kicking another man in the mouth. You're going to put him out at that point. But there's some weird stuff that happened. The guy, and let's look at the story real quick, and I'll explain that to you. Las Vegas veterinarian who went missing in early April, shortly after a video of him brutally kicking a horse in the face surfaced online, was found dead in a lake Friday. Dr. Shawn Frehner, 56, was recovered from Lake Meade, a reservoir spanning from Nevada to Arizona. Authorities combed the reservoir after finding his truck and multiple personal belongings near the water's edge last week. Now, that's a still shot of him kicking the horse in the mouth. Again, I'll show you the footage here in a second. They should surely talk about what he said. Nope, they're not going to talk about it. All right, let me show you the video real quick. This is the video. Let me get to that real quick. Sorry, it's not an easy thing to change videos on here. I really wish they would change the way they do the presenting here on StreamYard. All right, let me grab this one. Here we go. So this is going to be the content right here of him actually kicking the horse. And you're going to hear the audio. Again, the person filming this is the lady who owns the horse, and she's the one who put this video online. That is going to be the veterinarian inside the pen with the horses on the ground right now. Let me start the video.
It's upsetting us too. All right?
Oh.
Where are you kicking? It's upsetting us too. All right?
Oh.
Where are you kicking? It's upsetting us too.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. I don't know who might be squeamish or what, but I'm not telling you what he did was okay. What I'm telling you is he came out, the doctor did, after all this went online a few weeks ago, and he said, this is why I did this. And he was trying to describe why he had done it. He's been a veterinarian for several years now. Haven't heard any. I did a little bit of research before I came on here. I have not seen any more about him, like if there were other reported instances similar to this. But Guys, if you know anything about that whole Las Vegas, Lake Meade area, Lake Meade, if you, I don't know if you guys remember the drought in Lake Meade. Let me pull up Lake Meade real quick. Here we go. So let's go look at Lake Meade. All right, let me grab that real quick. I want to explain a little bit to you guys. There's some interesting stuff regarding Lake Meade. Let me pull that screen up real quick. Here we go. And because I want you guys to get full effect, let me get my fat head off of here. Maybe that helps a little bit so you can see the map a little bit better. So this is Lake Meade. You see how big Lake Meade is, right? You also see what's directly west of Lake Meade. That's Las Vegas. They had a drought a couple of years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago. And when that water level in Lake Meade dropped down really, really low, they found a lot of stuff in there. They found cars. They found, for sure, at least one 55-gallon drum with a body in it. Had the water level gone down much more, they would have found a lot more. Lake Meade is where bad guys from Las Vegas would dump people they disagreed with. And that's as flowery as language as I will leave it at, because I don't want the video to be taken down. But you understand what I'm talking about. Las Vegas was built on the backs of the mob building all that out there. And when somebody crossed them, they found their way on a one-way free trip to Lake Meade. Something tells me that the good doctor, the veterinarian who kicked this horse in the mouth, possibly did not drive himself to Lake Meade. I doubt this was a self-inflicted self-deletion by him in Lake Meade, knowing the history of Lake Meade. And again, a little bit out of the way from Las Vegas. I have a feeling that somebody had a hand in the good doctor making his way over to Lake Meade. So anyway, there's a lot with that has not come out yet. I'm curious what will come out. I do believe more will come out regarding this. I just know right now it's very, very suspect, and investigations are underway as we speak. They have not come out. No one has said anything. So, yeah, a lot of weirdness going on. You really getting that that retro feel of back in the day whenever the mob built Vegas and what happened. So I'm not laughing at the situation. This is an eerie thing. I remember whenever the lake went down a couple years ago, they would show pictures, and what I'll try to do is I'll try to grab some of those pictures and post them online, possibly in the community section on YouTube and possibly on X, to show you some of the things they found when Lake Meade's water level dropped down. It was really interesting. And it was like, there were people that were like they would ask them, what do you think they're going to find? They're like, really? I don't know. I mean, I remember whenever the 55-gallon drum surfaced, it was standing upright, and they opened it up and there was a body in it. So like I said, I know there were cars in there also. They talk about how if the water level had dropped far enough where they could actually get down to the seabed in some areas, that they expected to find other things with, guess what? Cinder blocks, concrete shoes, things like that. That's where that whole saying came from, is from throwing people into Lake Meade. So obviously, not just Lake Meade, obviously in the Jersey area too, but Lake Meade was known for the concrete shoes out there. So interesting turn of events. Yeah, Fluffy Bunny says they found, they did. They found just body parts. I got you. So I'm curious what else is going to come from all this, because this is going to be one of those situations where I think a lot of people are going to be doing this. What do you guys think? Do you think the guy offed himself and just went to Lake Meade in order to do this? Because he wasn't in the truck. You know, that seemed like that would be a more reasonable play. People don't drown themselves whenever they self-delete, right? That's just not a normal method of that happening. So I wonder what your thoughts are on this. Do you think somebody took him out? Do you think that there's an animal lover out there that had enough when they saw this? And I'll admit, watching him kick the horse in the face, I'm not a horse person. Like, I didn't grow up around horses. I grew up out in the country, but we had chickens, geese, things like that. We didn't kick them either. But I wasn't raised around horses. Now, I've ridden horses and I know my way around a horse. But I've never seen anybody kick a horse before, and I didn't know that was a thing. Like the veterinarian, I'll try to find the report and post it for you guys. But the veterinarian that kicked the horse, the way he described it was like a normal thing. Like other veterinarians would understand what he did and why he did it. So that's an area that I'm not familiar with. So I don't know the whole reasoning behind that, if that really is a thing or if that was just his way of trying to get out of it. But apparently he didn't get out of it. And if he took his own life, I would imagine maybe possibly not the weight of it, because he seemed okay with kicking a horse in the mouth. Like I said, he seemed like he described why he did it and felt like he had a valid enough reason. But it might be the blowback that he received online, people reaching out, because he was blistered online. You can go on and find some of the trails of the social media postings out there, and people were hammering this dude. He was having to go out there and privatize and then eventually delete and close out all of his social media accounts. He was getting hammered for this. And of course, the further left you go in the country, the more wacky they are. So you probably had a whole lot more of the left-leaning people in that Vegas area. I'm sure his business took a massive tumble. I'm sure probably most people, I mean, if you own a pet, you're probably a pet lover, wouldn't you think? So I think most people probably were taking their pets and their animals from him, not letting him use them. From what I understand also, he's also one of the only veterinarians that would go out there and do this. Like, there's a whole lot of context that needs to be described on the front end of this that led up to this video. Because again, the word is that no other veterinarian would go take this job. He was one of the few people who would actually do this, geldings and stuff like that. So it was one of those things where this was the guy. Like, if you had this done in this area, that's who did it. So a lot of unanswered questions, but there's also enough context on the front end of this that I'll try to scrounge up. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video on this to kind of lay out the context leading up to this. I do not think that, in my opinion, I'm not a veterinarian, I don't see how you justify kicking an animal in the face to help them breathe. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I'm not a veterinarian. So excuse me I don't want to delve off into that field where I have no experience, but it just seems like an awkward thing to say, that I was trying to kick it in the mouth so it would get up so it could breathe better. Okay. And also I want to mention this too. From what I understand, and I'll get the backstory on this, the lady who owned the horse, who had the video, who took the video, I think this was a wild Mustang from a reservation nearby that she had purchased. Like, she had purchased some Mustangs. So I think that's why it was so hard for them to find a veterinarian that would deal with this horse, because it was a wild Mustang. And nobody else was comfortable getting in there and dealing with this horse or any of the other horses she may have purchased other than this veterinarian. So a strange situation. Like I said, a lot of things culminated, all it came to one place, and then this happened. Any of you who have dealt with wild-ish animals or breaking a horse, you probably understand just the sheer force of the animal and the strength that they have. So you can probably imagine the heightened sense of whatever was taking place in there one more time, just getting a feel for it. So you understand what I'm talking about, the sheer power of those animals. But yeah, having a wild Mustang in there, not a lot of people were willing to go do what this guy was willing to do. Again, not taking up for you, just trying to give you the full context of the story. So let me see if I can do some digging. If nothing else, I'll at least find some links that I can share with you guys. Look for a good story tomorrow. I have an interesting story tomorrow. Did a little bit of digging today. It's one of the things that it's a topical thing that a lot of us talk about pretty often, but something that has kind of surfaced here recently. And I'm actually digging into some financial records right now to try to chase some money and figure out where it ends up at before I put that story out. So I probably wasn't quite ready to release what I was working on today, because that 2-hour phone call with my insurance company took up most of my afternoon. So my apologies there. Guys, have a great evening. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't mind, please like the video, possibly share the video. I know it's a live stream. It's not as fun to watch. It's not all the cool slides and the information and all that kind of stuff. But nevertheless, if you don't mind, like it, share it, whatever. It does help with the algorithm a little bit, helps the channel grow a little bit. And I do appreciate you guys always tuning in and always catching my live streams and always catching the video premieres. And of course, always, liking, sharing, and commenting as well. Comment down below once the video is done. You can still comment on the live stream video once the video is complete. It just won't be in the live chat like you guys are doing right now. For those of you in the chat, you guys are blowing and going right now. Thank you as always for being here. I'm going to cut out of here, go finish working on my story for tomorrow, and I'll have a fresh one for you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.